Django, what is the difference between render _to response and direct _to template? What's the difference? In language a Python/Django noob can understand, no view between render _to response and direct _to template? For example from Nathan Bora's Basic Apps Examples. But I've also seen and what's the difference? What to use in any particular situation?
This URL. Render is a brand spanking new shortcut for render _to response in 1.3 that will automatically use request context that I will most definitely be using from now on. 2020 edit. It should be noted that render _to response was removed in Django 3.0. This URL. Render _to response is your standard render function used in the tutorials and such. To use request context you'd have to specify context _instance equals request context request. This URL. Direct _to template is a generic view that I use in my views, as opposed to in my URLs, because like the new render function, it automatically uses request context and all its context processors. But direct _to template should be avoided as function-based generic views are deprecated. Either use render or an actual class, see this URL. I'm happy I haven't typed request context in a long time.
Rephrasing Yuri, Fabio, and Frost's answers for the Django new, i.e. me, almost certainly a simplification, but a good starting point? Render _to response is the original, but requires you putting context _instance equals request context request in nearly all the time, apita. Direct _to template is designed to be used just in URLs.py without a view defined in views.py, but it can be used in views.py to avoid having to type request context. Render is a shortcut for render _to response that automatically supplies context _instance equals request. It's available in the Django development version, 1.2.1, but many have created their own shortcuts such as this one or the one that threw me initially, Nathan's basic.tools.shortcuts.py.
Render is So there is really no difference between render _to response except it wraps your context making the template preprocessors work. Direct to template is a generic view. There is really no sense in using it here because there is overhead over render _to response in the form of view function.
From Django docs. Render is the same as a call to render _to response with a context _instance argument that forces the use of a request context. Direct _to template is something different. It's a generic view that uses a data dictionary to render the HTML without the need of the views.py. You use it in URLs.py. Docs here.
Just one note I could not find in the answers above. In this code, what the third parameter context _instance actually does? Being request context, it sets up some basic context which is then added to user _context. So the template gets this extended context. What variables are added is given by template _context _processors in settings.py. For instance, django.contrib.auth.context _processors.auth adds variable user and variable perm which are then accessible in the template.
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.